and welcome to the Future Proof Podcast. This is our bi-monthly podcast where we chat about stuff we're working on and anything cool we're planning. I'm Melissa Avery Weir.
And I'm Gregory Avery Weir, and you got a delivery today? Just now?
No, it came in a couple days ago, but going to the post office is a little bit of an ordeal right now, so I picked it up today. And that is the Amazon proof copy of the companion, of Rosette Diceless Companion, which is a whole lot of words. So we've talked about the proofing process before, but basically both DriveThruRPG and Amazon, we need to get print copies that we can't resell. They have like watermarks on them, just so we can see how it prints through their different printers. And so the Amazon copy got lost in the abyss that I ordered two months ago, maybe over 2 months ago at this point, and couldn't find it. It's no insurance on it. It's like a $2 book. So I ordered it again, and it arrived. And so now we have a relatively kind of complete idea of what our status is on the proofs. And we've got kind of a couple of major issues that are, they're not like deal breakers. I mean, they are deal breakers in the sense we're not going to go with them, but they're not like massive. One of them is that on the DriveThruRPG copy, for some reason our images on the cover are just kind of missing transparency. There's something about PDF.
Yeah, and companion.
Things.
Yeah, I think it's a versioning issue or version issue of what PDF we gave them.
Yeah. And then interior on all the books, one of our little sidebar curlicues isn't showing up, which we could have caught in the PDF. I think it's in the PDF. Mm-hmm. So that's fixable. And I think we can pretty reliably say, like, once we fix that in our PDF, we're going to be good on printing in that regard. We probably don't need to reorder proofs to test the curlicue. But the cover situation with DriveThruRPG is, I think we're going to want to make sure we have a way to see that happen or to see that it's fixed, whether that's looking in their system after we provide the PDF or getting another print copy. So that's pretty close. Like, if you just like bullet point those two things out, and maybe something else, I don't remember, that's almost done. So that's exciting.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that is close to done / is done is some writing we've been doing on Exploit Zero Day.
Yeah, so each job in Exploit Zero Day has a bunch of writing that goes along with it. I think we mentioned this last episode. There's both like some emails you exchange with the person who's kind of be your handler or the person that's sort of prompting you to do this hacking job, and then there's each system has a pre-message and a post-message, and each system is a little puzzle you're solving to hack into a computer. And I finished the writing on, what is it called?
I know it's job number 8, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, let me check real quick.
Okay.
It's called Military Industrial Complex, of course.
Oh, perfect.
And so this is one that takes place on a military base, and I've done the writing for it that I think still may get a few revisions, and then all that's left on that one is puzzle design, which I think you're going to be doing.
That's
Melissa. Correct. And then after that, there's only one more job to finish up on Headless Swarm.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Once this job is done, we'll release the previous job. We talked before about how we like to have one sort of ready to go, kind of in the bank. So once this one's wrapped up with testing, we'll release the previous job and then move on to the 9th and final job. So that's really exciting. I'm going to put in a plug here for a game. We don't normally do this, but Solitaire Conspiracy is a new game out by Mike Bithell, or Bithell Company, whatever. There are multiple people involved, including Tanya DePass and a couple of other writers. And it has a very EZD feel to me in terms of its sort of cultural tone and what it's doing structurally. I mean, you might play it and go, this has nothing to do with EZD, but I don't know, kind of guessing at some of the innards of it, it feels kind of like EZD. So if you're like, hey, what's some cyberpunk stuff I can play? I have played all the puzzles in EZD that exist right now, and have made as many as I feel like I wish to make at the moment, go play Solitaire Conspiracy because it's a pretty good game. And it's very gorgeous. So, that's all.
Awesome. And we've had a little release, I think, since the last episode.
That's right, yeah. So, if you are subscribed to the newsletter, you've heard about this, but we released the errata for Rosette Diceless. So, errata are a list of corrections, basically, for a book or for a work. And so, typically in errata, if you've ever played, like, D&D, you'll have... or run a game of D&D, I think more specifically, you'll have seen this sort of thing. It'll be like, oh, instead of the verbiage, in this circumstance, do this other thing, replace that text with XYZ. And so it's a very, concrete, specific kind of editing thing. And Rosette Diceless, we knew we were going to have it. We've talked about how we're releasing a new version of that. So part of what these proofs are that we're getting is updated copies of Diceless. So, but right now, you can go to any of the places where you can buy Rosette Diceless and download the errata or download an updated copy of the PDF version of the book. And you can also download it directly from rosetterpg.com. So it's kind of nice to get that out and have that available to folks. So, yeah.
And very few of those, there are no huge changes. Most of them are just clarifications on intent on stuff. The only thing that's like an actual big change is that stress and afflictions are now separate.
Yes.
So it's much less confusing to figure out where do you put afflictions and how do you track that versus stress.
Exactly.
So.
And if you want more game recommendations and a little bit of game footage from us, we do a little bit of streaming on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah, so you might know about this already. We've mentioned it before, but it's been a while since we've talked about it on the podcast. But we do something called Future Proof Plays, which every other week, one of us will stream a usually short game that sort of matches the Future Proof game's aesthetic and value system. We try and aim towards that. Sometimes we go a little bit far afield. They're often games that we're playing for the first time, so you'll kind of get our reactions in real time. And I think we try to kind of look at things from a developer's eye, and we won't be particularly harsh on games, but we'll definitely have some which you'll be able to tell that we love a lot more than others. And then both of us will occasionally do other streaming. Melissa's much more consistent on that. But if you go to futureproofgames.com/streams, you can see all our plans for our schedule for Future Proof Plays, and then those will have links to our individual Twitch channels where we do other streaming as well. And I actually did an impromptu stream for the first time in a bit as part of the indie bundle for Palestinian aid, which was a huge bundle with over 1,000 things in it. It managed to raise almost $900,000 for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, which is helping for people who are displaced and need support from various things, specifically the Gaza emergency. And our games are in that bundle. So if you don't have one of the games that's available on itch, and you got that bundle, then you have it now.
Yes.
So I streamed Terry Kavanaugh's V, spelled VVVVVV, which is one of my favorite games, and it was fun to do. And I don't know, I feel like I might stream more. I like streaming a decent amount once I do it. It just, life and all.
Yeah.
But futureproofgames.com/streams will have our plans for what we're going to do. Sometimes it's more or less filled out for the future, but you can keep up with it there or by following us on Twitter at PlayFutureProof.
Yep, and you can find all of our stuff over at futureproofgames.com. We're on Twitter as Greg said, at Play Future Proof, and on YouTube as Future Proof Games, where we archive our streams. You can get a video version of this podcast, not with our faces, but with a very adorable pulsing heart as we talk. You can hit us up with questions or comments over on the blog or on social media. Our theme music is Juparo by Broke for Free, which is used with permission.